Let me do this here.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, it's two cases. We're on the record in cause number, at least cause numbers 324-644, cause number 324-648. All two cases are styled the state of Texas versus Carlton Ray Goodman. How you doing, Mr. Goodman?
Yeah.
Okay, now, Mr. Goodman, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Grove. Mr. Grove, Mr. Goodman's case is on the court's announcement docket. You have an announcement you'd like to make in
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Goodman's case?
Mr. Goodman would like to set his two cases for trial.
Okay, let's reset him for trial. Okay, the case is gonna be reset September 13th. You can get your reset, Mr.
Yes.
Grove and Mr. Goodman. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. And Mr. Grove, I think these are your only two cases.
Yes,
So
sir.
you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day. So you
Thank
can
you.
stand over on the end and get your resets.
Thank you, y'all.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. James Nero. It's Mr. Matuska.
Oh.
We're on the record in cause number 323142. The case is styled the state of Texas versus James Nero. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Nero?
That's fine.
I'm doing fine. Okay, Mr. Nero, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about well, let me do this here, Mr. Nero. Please raise your right hand. Mr. Nero, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. Now, Mr. Nero, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about May 10 of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of assault family violence. Mr. Nero, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Nero, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you're guilty? Okay, Mr. Nero, I have before me a document that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishments, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Nero, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Nero, there's a set of initials above the line or next to the line with the box checked guilty. Are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, Mr. Nero, is that your
Yes, sir.
signature? Okay. Above the line is titled defendant. Now, Mr. Nero, I also have before me a document that is titled Trial Court's Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Nero, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are two boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving, which means you're giving up your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document that is titled the Discovery Certification. Mr. Nero, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Nero, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney, Mr. Matuska, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And everything in these documents, true and correct,
Yes, sir.
to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1, State you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Matuska, you advised in counsel, Mr. Nero, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Nero, your attorney, Mr. Matuska, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nero, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
It's a 1-year deferred adjudication probation, $500 fine plus court costs, 80 hours community service, anger management, and no contact with the victim, Marlena Harrison.
Okay, Mr. Nero, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year probationary period, you will be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $337. You'll be required to pay $60 each month probation fee, $15 each month urinalysis fee. You'll be required to reimburse the Jefferson County for the $250 court-appointed attorney's fee. Your total monthly installments that you will be required to pay in this case is $175 each month. Mr. Nero, will you be able to pay the $175 each month?
Yes, sir.
You will be required to perform 80 hours of community service, pay a fine of $100 to a family service center, to the Family Violence Center. You will be required to attend and complete the anger management class. And you cannot have any contact with the victim, in this case, Marlena Harrison, and you would also have to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Nero, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Nero, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Nero, if you successfully complete this probation, this case will be dismissed. It may not result in a conviction on your record, and you may qualify for a non-disclosure. And you can talk to your attorney about whether or not you qualify for non-disclosure. He's quite competent in these matters. Now, Mr. Nero, in accordance with the Texas Administrative Code, Section 176.1, the court hereby admonishes you of the following. And you have a copy of that admonishment before you. I will go over this with you. Number 1, you are, by entry of order or judgment, ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. 2, beginning now, if you possess a firearm or ammunition, it could lead to charges against you. If you have questions about how long you will be ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, you should consult an attorney. Number 3, under Texas Penal Code Section 46.013, A, firearm means any device designed, made, or adapted to expel a projectile through a barrel by using the energy generated by an explosion or burning substance, or any device readily convertible to that use. B, firearm does not include a firearm that may have as an integral part a folding knife blade or other characteristics of weapons made illegal by Penal Code Chapter 46, and that is 1, an antique or carry-over firearm manufactured before 1899, or 2, a replica of an antique or carry-over firearm manufactured before 1899, but only if the replica does not use rimfire or centerfire ammunition. The statutes listed below are a starting point for ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. For more information about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or for more information on how long your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition lasts, the court recommends you contact an attorney. Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 17.292, Magistrate's Orders for Emergency Protection. Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 42.0131, Notice of Persons Convicted of Misdemeanors Involving Family Violence. Penal Code, Section 46.02, Unlawful Carrying Weapons. Penal Code, Section 46.04, Unlawful Possession of Firearm. Penal Code, Section 25.07, Violation of certain court orders or conditions of bond in a family violence, child abuse or neglect, sexual assault or abuse, indecent assault, stalking, or trafficking case. Family Code, Section 85.026, warning on protective orders. Now, Mr. Nero, you will stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our clerk, and once you finish following those directions, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. And Mr. Matuska, I think, do you have another case?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
She's present in court.
okay.
Yeah.
Sign that black box right there that's in front of you. You won't be able to see it.
Yeah, Chris, see if we can talk to him.
Raise your right hand. You swear that you have never before been given deferred adjudication or regular probation for a felony or misdemeanor in this or any other state except for. And do you further swear that nothing else is pending? And so the directions to probation here on the top. And these. And this. That's it. Do your copies and you need to go to probation this morning and make arrangements with them, okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
We're on a record in cause number 328119. The case is style of State of Texas versus Candy Cooper Collazo. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. Collazo?
Okay.
That's good. Ms. Collazo, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Ryan Matuska. Mr. Matuska, how you doing again?
Morning.
Good morning. Mr. Matuska, you have an announcement you'd like to make in Ms. Collazo's case?
Well, Your Honor, the state is dismissed this cause number in consideration.
Oh, it is?
A plea on felony cause number 21-36193.
Okay, Ms. Collazo, the state has announced that they are dismissing your case. And I have a copy of the dismissal in my hand. I've just signed it. And you should be able to get a copy in just a minute, once it prints off. You can stand on the 4X. Our court coordinator will give you a copy,
Mr. Matuska?
and this will conclude your case. You have a blessed day.
Narrows.
Okay, and
I
this
had
will,
Mr. Bacon, but he wasn't on the docket today.
okay, well, this will conclude your case as well. Mr. Matuska, you have a blessed day, and you're excused.
Okay, we'll copy.